This is going to be a 20-minute morning yoga practice for people who are really busy but who want to get their yoga in early. We're going to start standing at the top of the mat in mountain pose. So feet about 2 fists between the arches of the feet apart. Your feet are aligned straight, so like an 11. Your thighs are rolling away from one another. Your belly button is lifting, your shoulders are down and back. Let your chin tuck slightly. Open your arms, rotating externally. And then reach through the crown of your head. Let your eyes close for a moment. And let your toes wiggle for a moment. Now feel the ground beneath your feet and just notice where you're holding your weight. Let yourself use your inner gyroscope to kind of center and balance your body over your feet. Now let your eyes gently open. And we're going to come out of our mountain or Tadasana, just softening. And then let yourself wiggle a little bit. And then let the chin reach for the chest. And begin to take little circles with the head, but start with little half circles. So chin goes from shoulder to shoulder. And as you do this, let your knees be soft. Let your core stay gently engaged. But really start to focus on your neck a little bit. And as you move the head from side to side, eventually let it grow. Let it start to be full circles going each direction. Noticing and feeling into your neck the whole time. You may hear little crunchy sounds. Those are okay as long as they aren't hurting you. If you feel any stress or strain, be a little more gentle in those areas, easing into movement. Now next time your chin reaches for your chest, allow it to pause and lift up from the top back of your head. Tuck the chin into the neck and get a nice stretch up the back body. And then soften and let the head float up on top of the neck. Now taking a hand to the sternum, lift the chin toward the sky. At the top of where you want to go in this stretch, tighten your jaw. Softening and releasing, coming back to a neutral head position. Let the hand go to the side. And now we're going to tent our arms a little bit. Fingertips reaching for the ground, shoulders down and back, and now the side of the neck. So lift one ear, reaching for the sky. And then come back to center and take that neutral position for a moment, and then take the other ear, lifting for the sky. Softening, let everything come back and release. Shake it out. Now take hold of your strap. So I asked Richard here to have a strap before we started. And we're going to take the strap and hold it between our hands a little wider than shoulder width. And then we're going to let ourselves begin to move with that strap, letting the spine and shoulders find movement, and just allow yourself to freely take this movement. So the strap completes the circuit in the body and helps you to keep your movements aligned safely. But this is a really great way to warm up the shoulders and the spine fairly quickly. As you move with your strap, be as creative as you want to with those movements. Allow yourself to really feel into your upper body, your shoulders and your spine, your core. And as always, pay attention to how your body feels in the movement. Now, when you feel like your shoulders and your spine have gotten some nice movement, let yourself come back to a neutral standing position and let that strap go. Now we're going to work into a little flow, but we're going to go a little slowly into the first couple of positions. So we're going to start with the forward fold. So let your knees soften, let your toes take the weight, hinge at the hips, and find belly on the thighs, fingers on the floor or blocks, and let the neck release the head. Now with your next inhale, we're going to lift halfway, straighten the legs, straighten the spine, find a purchase for your hands on legs, blocks, or floor. Now use your exhale to fold back in. So begin to make a little flow out of this. Inhale, lift to that halfway place using your core strength. Exhale, soften to that fold. Continue to take a few more breaths and a few more of these little lifts and releases. Now the next time you lift away from your legs, pause and hold. Engage your core, reach to the crown of your head. Keep your weight in your toes. Now allow that fold to happen again. Soften the knees, belly finds the thighs, fingers line up with the toes this time. And we're going to take our right foot back as far as we can. Lift the chest and drop the knee. Release the toes and take a moment to pause in this low lunge. And then let that front leg straighten, lift the toes, and gently fold toward the straight leg. With your inhale, come back forward, allowing yourself to take a few rocks here, back and forth, warming up the hip. Now the next time you rock forward into your low lunge with your knee over your ankle, let's see if that back leg wants to go any further back. And then engaging your core, let your hands come up maybe first to your knee, maybe to heart center. But eventually, let's lift our arms and reach, whether with bent elbows or straight, and pause and breathe. Next, exhale, releasing hands to frame the foot. We're going to bring the back foot forward and switch sides. So curl the back toes under and lift the knee. Pull the back foot forward to meet the front foot. And then take a moment to lift out of this to that halfway point. Let your arms float out as wings and rise all the way to standing. As you come to the top, bring your arms up by your ears. Grab hands and take a big stretch. Now when you release this stretch, let yourself come back to that forward fold. Soft knees, belly on the thighs, weight in the toes. Fingers line up with toes. And then as you lift away from your legs a little bit, let that left foot step back as far as you can. Let the knee drop, the chest lift, the toes release. And then pause. Now allow the leg in the front to straighten And begin that little rocking back and forth on this side. Always noticing the difference when you switch from one side to the other in any of these little flows. Now the next time you come forward into this low lunge, knee over ankle, back leg, you might want to go back a little more. And then let your core engage, bring your hands up to the knee or maybe the heart center. And eventually let the arms extend up from the shoulders. And let yourself find a place you want to hold this pose. And breathe. With your next exhale, let the hands come down to frame the foot. Now this time we're going to curl our back toes under. We're going to go backwards to a plank. So lift your knee off the ground and step the front foot back. Find your plank. Let your fingers extend wide. Let your heels be over your toes, your core engaged. And then lift the hips toward the sky. Come up on your tippy toes and really feel the length of the spine, the legs. Maybe your knees want to bend. Maybe you want to pedal them out a little bit. Letting your feet rock and roll, heels to the ground and back up. And then eventually coming to letting your heels relax toward the floor in your down dog. Maybe your down dog has bent knees, maybe straight, whatever your body enjoys. Now floating back to your plank, let your knees come to the ground. Let your toes release. Now lowering, elbows moving back, not out. Come all the way to the floor. Let your hands come in under your forehead. Your chest relax down. And take a couple breaths here. Now we're going to work a little bit on our back. So when you feel ready, keeping your hands nice and stacked under your forehead, we're going to lift our arms and our head and our chest peeling away from the floor. And then release back down. Let yourself take 2 or 3 of these. Inhaling, peeling away from the floor. Exhaling and coming back down. Now next time you find yourself on the floor, bring your hands in under your shoulders. We're going to come up to our knees and then press our hips back toward our heels. Reaching out in front of your arms, in front of your shoulders with your arms. Now let yourself come back up over the hands and then let the hips rock a few times. Back to the heels, up over the knees. Just let yourself feel into the full range of motion, knees and hips. Now next time you rock back, let yourself stay there. Allowing yourself to relax down into a child's pose. And take a few breaths here, exploring the full flexion of joints. Now let's walk our hands back toward our knees. We're going to come onto our bottoms. So letting your hips come off to the side, swing your legs around in front of you. As you bring your legs out in front of you, take a moment to just find if your body is adapting to sitting on the floor. If you feel like your spine wants to curl or your hamstrings are particularly tight, add a blanket under your hips to help your body to be able to go 90 degrees from the floor. Now, pull your toes back toward your face. Bring your arms out in front of your shoulders, your chest lifting. And rock from the hips as far forward as your body allows. And then come back toward the back and lean back, holding it with your core. Rocking forward as far as your body allows. Leaning back, engaging core. Now, as you find the motion here and your hamstrings and calf muscles start to loosen up a little bit, you might find that you rock a little further forward into that fold. And as you pull back, you might want to lift your knees and feet from the ground in boat pose. Keep on letting yourself find the extremes of this flow that you enjoy. Now, next time you rock forward, allow your hands to release and pull your soles of your feet together, bringing them in toward you, your knees out. As you come into bound angle with your knees extended and bent, your feet can open like a book. Grab onto your legs for leverage. Extend tall through the crown of your head. And then even if it's just a tiny little hinge at the hips, let yourself lean forward a little bit. Now coming back all the way up, let the knees come in together. Take the hands behind you and let your knees windshield wiper, releasing the tension in the hips. Now, in whatever way works for you, let yourself come down onto your back. When you get to your spine, let's draw the knees in for a little hug. Just grab a hold of them and gently hug. Maybe you would like to rock a little bit. And then let the feet find the ground right below your bottom. The hands, palms down next to your sides. We're going to lift our hips and take a stretch up the front of the body and the front hip flexors. Now let the spine gently roll down. And from here, take a moment to get comfortable. Just let your legs extend or come onto your side. Maybe you pull a blanket in under your head. Maybe you put a bolster under your knees. We're going to relax for just a minute or two and release. Allow your breath to deepen and let gentle movements begin in your body. Eventually, make your way back up in whatever way feels gentle to you to a seated position. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.